everyone, welcome back to Once Upon a Van Life.
What's up?
This episode we made it to Vancouver Island, which was a real adventure and very beautiful.
So beautiful.
Yeah, so stay tuned.
We made our way via ferry to Vancouver Island, and we made our way to Nanaimo, which was a little town that's like basically right on the ocean. And we stayed our first night at Mateo Sutton Park. It's it's kind of attached to the marina. You pay like $9. You can stay there for a night, and has bathrooms. Nice little park to walk the dog. This big sign that says Nanaimo. It was kind of rainy when we were there too.
Yeah, nice park though.
Yeah,
nice park.
Yep. And then you guys might remember how we talked about how we got our window fixed there too. So that's kind of the reason why we went to Nanaimo there. But we also stayed at a campground, which is kind of in Nanaimo, and it's called Living Forest Park. And Sam will tell you about that.
Yeah, it's right on the outskirts, like 5 minutes outside of downtown, which is really nice if you want to be able to go into the city. And we had an ocean view site, and I've said before, we've gotten ocean view sites that weren't really an ocean view. It was pretty obstructed when we were out in Nova Scotia and stuff, but this was an ocean view. It was like the entire side of our campsite was just looking out on the ocean. It was incredible. And we figure we were just about directly across from like Gibson's and Seashell,
yeah,
where we were staying before, which was kind of cool to be on the other side, but beautiful. You could see all the ocean liners
that
were
you could see mountains, right?
And you could see all the ocean liners that were waiting to like have all their stuff like dollied into land. And there was eagles flying around.
Yeah, we had our binoculars out checking out the scene. It was really cool.
Yeah, and we got to have a campfire for the first time. Josh had gotten a new axe for Christmas, and he was super excited to get out there and chop some wood. So we had a couple of nice campfires and cooked on the fire, which we were really missing because we had been at an Airbnb in February. We hadn't really had the opportunity to do that in a while. So probably since like early December at Algonquin Park way back in Ontario. So the last time we had a really good campfire and made dinner on the fire. So that was really, really fun. But beautiful campground. It was really well kept. All the facilities you'd want, including laundry. It was highly recommend. Living Forest Campground.
And also when we were in Nanaimo too, we went to a park that's in the middle of the city called Bowen Park, which is just a quaint, well, it's not little, but it's pretty big. It has a river going down in, and it had a frolf course and tennis courts.
Lots of people frolfing. It was very popular.
Yeah, and lots of people walking their dogs, and it was a good way to just get some exercise and just slow down a bit. We've been kind of traveling a little bit for the last few days, so it was nice to just do that for a little bit. But Nanaimo was our first stop.
Yeah, and tons of thrift stores. If you happen to like thrifting, we thrifted for probably a day and a half. There had to be at least 10 or 12 different shops in Parksville, Nanaimo, which is kind of like the outskirts. It'd be like your Mississauga to Toronto, but great thrifting, and we got some really cool stuff.
One of the best value villages I've been to, actually. It's really cool. So if you go there, make sure you Google thrift and check it out. Here we are in Nanaimo at our campground Living Forest. And our site's right off this crazy lookout. You can see the mountains, pretty much the ocean out there. The tide's out there a little bit, but beautiful view. Dog's enjoying the sun too.
So after Nanaimo, we headed south down through Duncan and down into Victoria, which was really beautiful. We actually really, really liked Victoria. We first went into the downtown and found a little bit of parking for a few hours and went for a walk, and that was really neat. There was, again, a lot of thrift stores, coffee shops, all sorts of stuff downtown, restaurants galore. They have like an old section, so we got to part of that. I think that there's a bigger section that we didn't actually get to, but with the camper van, parking downtown is sometimes a little bit difficult. But went for a really nice walk, again, down by the marina. Really lovely day. It was nice and sunny and warm. And then we found the beach. We kind of went as far down as you could go, and man, was it a beautiful beach, eh, Josh?
It was crazy. It was like kind of like a big cliff with the beach that went along the bottom of it, and it was so nice. It like wrapped all the way around the bottom of I guess Victoria, and you could see on the other side was Mount Olympus Park, which is in Washington State. And of course, there's mountains. It's BC area, right? But so beautiful. Like, we actually just left the dog just because he had already gone for a big walk downtown, and went down on the beach, and so beautiful. People were just, I've had such a good vibe there. It was very,
so
very
many
cool.
camper
Very
vans.
Cool.
There was like hundreds of camper vans parked there.
Yeah, it was crazy. It was so beautiful that we actually just like went down a little bit from the beach, and we actually had supper. We made supper, and we were just like looking out on the ocean, and we were like, this is it. This is what we wanted to do when we came to do van life. So
yeah,
it was awesome. Victoria, it was so nice that we actually stayed at a Home Depot in the parking lot, and then got up and went back there for breakfast
and ate our breakfast. Yeah,
it was so beautiful, right? But then from there we were heading back north up the island, and we went to Goldstream Provincial Park, which was super nice.
It was really nice.
Yeah. Classic, just giant trees and little waterfalls, and actually I think there was a little waterfall that was kind of just coming out of the rocks, but went for a little walk and had lunch, and
really great facilities again, like bathrooms and picnic areas. They had fire pits, and people were having like fires and cooking hot dogs.
We were like, man, we could have got some wood and just had
you had to bring your own firewood, or we totally
yeah.
would have done that. But you're not supposed to carry wood, so we've been trying not to take wood from fireplace to fireplace. But oh, great park. Highly recommend it. It's right along the highway that goes down the coast there.
Yeah.
And we made our way back up to Nanaimo, because next we were
going to Tofino.
Yeah, so we had made our way back up to Nanaimo, because next we were heading over to Tofino, which is on the other side of the island, but there's actually only one road that goes back and forth, which is really crazy to think about. So it was pretty busy, and the kicker is there's construction happening right in the middle, which has been happening for a couple of years, is my understanding now. It's about a 200-kilometer stretch from Nanaimo over to Tofino, and you have no cell phone reception. There are some rest stops along the way with washrooms and stuff like that, but all of a sudden we just stop. Like, we're in the middle of nowhere, and all of a sudden, like, you just stop, and there's this row of like 50 cars, and it's because they've got it down on this cliff edge down to one lane. And it was crazy actually driving through this like construction. You're right on the edge. There's like a lake and a cliff and one lane that you can get through.
Going from that drive is just mountains, rivers, like, you know. And then it's funny because like Sam said, you just stop at this like construction.
Everyone's out walking their dogs.
Apparently that we've heard from other people, it's been happening for like years, that it used to be like a 3-hour
wait. Like, you used to have to plan when you drove across the island based on when like the stop and go times were, but now it's only about half an hour, 45 minutes. So we just went and just thought, we'll just stop when we stop, and it was cool. It's a really nice drive across, but then you get to
it's well worth it, because when you get to Tofino, holy cow.
I think at that point, one of the nicest places we've been. And again, we had a ocean view campsite.
We stayed at Bella Pacifica Park, which is like, if you go camping there, like, try and stay there, because it was like, holy cow, like, blew our minds. Like,
it was so beautiful. The beaches, they almost feel tropical at that point. I don't know what it is. I don't know what's different, like, from the other side of the island, but you feel like you're not in Canada anymore. You feel like you've gone to, like, I don't know, California, Barbados. Like, you feel like you're on a beach that is just somewhere else in the world, and beautiful white sands and sunsets and waves, and we fell in love, baby.
Hendrix, like, I think like every 2 hours, so we'd take him for a walk on the beach, and he just loved it. And then he'd sleep, And then 2 hours later, it's like he knew what was there, and he'd be like, "Okay, let's go
All right,
on the
back
beach
to the beach
again."
we
We
go.
were like, "Okay, dude, like we're gonna go do this or do that," you know, like.
And it was cool because it was a bit of a private beach. There was a campground and then I think 2 other resorts, but the beach was just for those 3. Like there was signs saying like private beach, no general access. So there wasn't that many people. Like there might be 50 people at a time on this massive, like 2-kilometer long beach.
When we got there, it was like the campground's been open for like 2 days, so there wasn't really that many people. They were kind of doing some construction, but we were looking at some of the campsites, and some of the coolest campsites I've ever seen. Like I'll put some pictures up where they have like, they're kind of like ocean view, and they have like bushes that divide it between. Like it's hard to explain.
So you'd like park your car and then you'd have to go down this little path to where the picnic table and your fire pit was.
It was amazing.
But then there'd be another little path to a little circle spot where you'd put your tent. They were the most unique campsites we've ever seen.
It was very cool, and
well worth it.
Another beach that we went to there was called Long Beach, and it's called Long Beach because it's so long. It's
part of the provincial park that's there.
Yeah. So we spent probably like an hour and a half just walking down there.
National park, actually. It's a national park. Yeah, because our parking pass worked. Yeah.
So we went to Long Beach, and it, once again, beautiful waves, big rocks, and
people surfing, which was cool to see. You know, I thought it was really cool. There was this couple. They had to be 65 and in their wetsuits and out surfing. I just thought it was really cool seeing people that age out doing something like that. It was really neat. Just a different mentality about health and you know, being young. It was really neat.
And then the little downtown area is so cool. It's a little surf area, a little surf town, and just surf shops everywhere. There's coffee and whatnot. But we went to this little place called The Shed, which was really, really gnarly.
Had some awesome burgers, veggie burgers.
And they also served Tofino brewery beer, which we went to the brewery, which was really nice.
Had a beer there too, and got a 6-pack to go. We like to visit the breweries, as you know.
And we also did another trail that was just like off of downtown, where you basically go through this trail for probably like half an hour, and then it just brings you out to this ridiculous beach where it's just like, it seems like it's a secret. Like when you get there, it was actually raining that day, so we didn't stay that long. But it takes you out, and there was like 3 other people there. But
there was like one house up on the cliff, and otherwise it was like this secret beach that you just walked to on this trail. It was
the path
really cool.
Path was ridiculous too, like all these giant trees, and you know, it was just insane, especially because they have signs saying there's bears and cougars there, and you're just kind of walking, like making sure. Like Sam told me to make sure we look up in the trees and stuff all the time. So I
watched a video once that said, look up for wildcats, look down for rattlesnakes, and look behind you for bear. And I always just remembered that, right?
And even too, you walk back, and then there's like these stairs that you go to. Like you walk back towards where the trail starts, and then these stairs brings you to another beach, and
these caves. We found these really cool caves,
and like I said, it was raining, but which was awesome because this guy never used to walk in the rain, and now apparently, I think just the beauty and being able to go to the beach.
And we got him a raincoat. I think that helps too.
Yeah, and who doesn't want to see a giant dog in a raincoat?
Yeah, but Tofino, it is great for all ages. Like, you don't have to camp. There are beautiful, fancy resorts. There are cabins and Airbnbs. There's motels. There's campgrounds, restaurants. You can go whale watching, scuba diving, surfing. Like, it is got a lot happening.
I didn't even know.
We weren't even there in high season. We were there in like super low season.
I didn't even know this place existed on Earth, and we went there for 3 days. I said to Sam on the 3rd day, I was like, why didn't we come here for a week?
We could have spent a week.
We literally could have just camped there for a week, and I would have been happy. But
expensive, very expensive.
Worth it though,
because it's very secluded. And something we learned, it's in what they call a tsunami zone. And what that means is that literally they have tsunami protocol. On the back of our camping map was like, what happens if you hear the siren, what you're supposed to do. And we learned from our waitress at the Shed that means also that you cannot get home insurance on anything. So all those people there, you can buy a $2 million beautiful cabin that you cannot get any house insurance on because you're in a tsunami zone, which just something we'd never heard of, and we thought was really, really interesting.
Pretty crazy to think. I guess there hasn't been one there in a while, but Tofino was amazing.
Very cool.
At Long Beach. Just outside of Tofino here. So beautiful.
All right, guys. Well, it wouldn't be a video without a
Story from the road.
And this is a good one. We had been having really good luck as we crossed Canada right from the East Coast, staying at Walmarts. And as we got into Alberta and BC and down to the border, we were having trouble finding Walmarts that didn't have signs. Most of them you can't stay at. Unfortunately, people have kind of abused that privilege. So we started staying at Costco's, because not only are we a Costco member and often we need something inside, they have no signs. And we always kind of thought if there's no signs, then it's fair game. And we had stayed at what, 3, 4, 5 maybe at this point?
We go basically like when they close, and then we wake up before they open up, and that's it.
So we try to go for about 8:30 at night, and we try to leave by about 8:30 in the morning, not to abuse the privilege. Well, the one night we actually tried to go to a rest area that was closed for maintenance. So we went down on the highway and found a Costco, and there was no signs. We circled the parking lot about 3 times, making sure there was no security, no signs, nothing. Pulled up. It was just before the store closed, so about 8 o'clock, and started making dinner and made dinner, ate dinner. The store closed. Like, we saw the cart boys out clearing carts. No one said anything. And so I started doing dishes, and all of a sudden I hear this like kind of like a siren, the sound that a fire truck makes. This is what I'm going to compare it to when it's trying to get through an intersection and people are clogging the intersection, and we've all heard it. It's like a honky siren sound. So I hear that twice, and I actually went and looked out the front window because I was concerned that something in the plaza was on fire. Like, it sounded like fire trucks coming in. And then we hear over a megaphone, "People in the Sprinter van, please come outside." And both Josh and I just look at each other like, okay. So he was laying in bed with the dog, so I just went out the side door. And funny enough, I'm in my slippers. I've still got my dish rag in my hand. And I walk out the back of the van, and there's not 1, not 2, but 3 cruisers, like, cornering us in with 3 cops and a megaphone. And I'm like, oh, this is excessive. So anyway, right away though, is when I came around the corner in like my comfy clothes with my slippers and my dish rag, you could just see the officers' faces change. We weren't what they were expecting, and I'm not really sure what they were expecting. Josh actually said, what has happened at this Costco that it would necessitate sending 3 police officers? Like, the manager could have came out, the cart boy.
The cart boy couldn't have been like, hey, you guys can't stay here.
Or
we would have been like,
one cop just pull up and knock on the window, like the old knock.
We thought it was excessive.
It was really excessive. 3 officers like standing behind their car doors, I don't know, like I'm gonna come out aggressive or something. And right away you could see them change, and I was like, hi guys, what can I do for you? And they, to be honest, they were all younger than us. Like, I would give them 30 years old tops, all 3 cops. And so I just said to them, you know, we were just making some dinner, like we were gonna go to the rest stop, but it's closed. Can you help us out here? Like, where can we go? And right away they changed, and they were very helpful actually. But I couldn't believe that 3 cops and a megaphone just because we were parked in a Costco. And keep in mind, this is 9 o'clock at night. Like, it's not the middle of the night. It is not late. It's not a party night. It is a weeknight at 9 o'clock in the city. Like, it is really weird that it took this many officers. But anyway, they were super nice. They directed us to a park and ride, or like a carpool that we were able to park in overnight, and all was well. I actually even said to him, I'm in the middle of dishes. Like, I can't really drive the car like that. Can you give me 10 minutes to finish? He said, yeah, no problem. And went on their way, and it was fine. But I'll tell you, I'm sure my face was hilarious when I came around the side of the van and there was 3 cruisers and a megaphone.
And that was the first time that we've got the knock, as they say, that we said we couldn't stand.
And it was a heck of a knock. It wasn't a knock, it was a megaphone.
We were just laughing because I was just like, what would they have thought if I went out, you know, a guy with a beard and long hair? Would they have said the same thing? But whatever, it was fine.
It was
Life
pretty
went
funny,
on,
actually.
And and that was another
Story from the road. All right, folks. Well, that's another episode of Once Upon a Van Life. Thanks for watching. Click, like, subscribe so you know when the next video comes out. And if you're just tuning in, please check out our other videos. We've got a whole bunch of them up now. We've gone all across Canada from coast to coast. So follow our travels and have a great night.
See you later.